Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well while learning his truth. 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere, your children, shalom. And in today's lesson, as you can see, is going to be building off of this video that I got here from the brother, the Hopeful Elect 3. And I'm actually titled today's video, The Evil Arrows of Famine Are Coming, right? Because, hey, Yahweh Shem Shai is definitely going to bring a famine down the pipeline to this place, America, as well as the world, man. You see, you go into famine, it means a scarcity of food and resources, man. And that's coming, right? Those are going to be part of those plagues that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to pour out in these latter times. And I'm actually go to a precept real quick through the Spirit before we even get into the video. I'm going to grab Ezekiel chapter 5, and I'll start at verse 16. It says, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, right? Because a lot of people are going to perish for not having anything to eat, right? In the times that's coming. It says, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you and will break your staff of bread, right? And that's what's about to come to America real soon. That's why it's no coincidence you got with these EBT cuts. You got a lot of these different people that are going to these food banks and all of these different type of, food places where people can go to get resources and food. They're running out of stuff quickly, man, due to the amount of people that storm in those places, due to them not having their EBT benefits. So, I mean, hey, we see everything that's happening in this place is ultimately, setting up a famine that's coming in the near future, man. Then you also got to remember all of the tariffs that Trump put on a good majority of these countries when he first came into the White House, man. So America's not even getting certain, foods and things like that coming in because they didn't put tariffs on certain countries that ultimately has affected their relationship from doing business with each other. So, I mean, hey, everything that we see ultimately taking place is setting the stage for what's coming, man. Right. But I'm going to finish reading, right? It says, and will break your staff of bread. Yeah, the staff of bread is going to be broken here in Babylon the Great, man. Spiritually, Sodom and Egypt. It ain't going to be no trucks coming in real soon due to the violence and chaos that soon are going to erupt. In these times, you're going to have a lot of looting and stealing. So, I mean, hey, it ain't going to be no food at all, man. You see, for the good majority of these people, right? Verse 17, it says, so will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, right? And pestilences and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, has spoken it, man. And this is exactly what Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is going to do in this time as well, man. He's going to bring all those exact things that I just read, from the famine to the sword, pestilences. He's going to use all of these things in these times to bring forth judgment, man, upon those that are wicked, right? Which are the 2/3 of Jake, as well as these heathens, man. These are the things that these people are going to have to worry about real soon in America, man, as well as the world, right? Because these things are coming, right? We already seeing everything on a small scale, but it's going to continue to grow, it's going to continue to escalate. The sorrows are going to continue to increase, man, right? As it tells us right here. I'm going to just grab this real quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, right? And I'm going to go down to verse 37. And it says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and they're not slack. Yeah, man, because, hey, things are not going to slack up. Things are not going to go back to normal. Things are not going to get better, right? You're just going to continue to see problem after problem after problem occurring in the earth, man. You see, things just going to get worse, right? As it tells us in 2nd Ezra 14-16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen done shall be done hereafter. Verse 17 says, for look how much the world shall be wicked through age, so much the more shall evils, right? Meaning bad times increase upon them that dwell therein. Talking about the people that dwell within the earth, man. And this is exactly what Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is about to bring upon these people. Plagues, man, sorrows, great misery. You see, evils and only evils, right? Verse 38, it says, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, right? With 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment, right? Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. And as I mentioned, man, those sorrows are going to be these famines and everything else that's coming down the pipeline, man, right? This is what's coming. So I'm going to get straight into the video, all right? But before I started, I want to say fair use on the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. Fair use.
Guys, I say this from a place of love. I really mean that. I don't say these things, for hype or anything like that. I look at what's going on and I report accordingly. And over the last few days, I've spent time watching a documentary called Europa: The Last Battle. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's 12 hours long, right? It's hard to find. You can find it on Odyssey. But it tells us of our true history, what really happened in the wars, and not the BS version that we're taught in schools, because the winners always write history, right? This is a documentary that is horrifying on many levels, and it will test your ability to take on new information. And what I noticed with watching that documentary is this system, or the people behind this system, they love famine and starvation to wipe out large portions of people. It was done in Russia with the Bolsheviks. 50 million people died through famine and starvation over a number of years. And this theme went on throughout the world wars. And of course, there were ration books and all of this stuff. And of course, we know that they want to ration our food intake, and they're going to use the guise of social, carbon footprints and all of this stuff. And then you look at what's going on in the world right now. They're culling birds under the guise of safety because of so-called bird flu and, other animals. And beehive keepers have been told to burn their bees, and of course without bees there is no life. You got helicopters dropping all kinds of chemicals in lakes and rivers, polluting the water system, so potentially you can't fish. So when you add the two together, and this is why I'm putting this video up, because I'm looking at history, and we need to learn from history. If we don't learn from history, true history, then we're foolish. And then,
right? And you hear what it is the guy is saying, and he's absolutely correct, because we know, as the scripture said, that nothing is new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. And we know that the things that happened in the past, guess what? They're going to replay themselves around. So just like in the past, you had massive droughts or famines that came through and a lot of people perished. Hey, those same things are coming again to this time, man. And ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the one that's going to bring these things, even though, Esau might be, engineering these things. But, hey, the Lord is controlling him on the left-hand side. So it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua when these things happen, man. The Lord is the one that's bringing it, right? As it tells us right here. Let me grab this. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 5. It said, "Behold, saith the Lord," right? Yahweh Shem Yahushua, "I will bring plagues upon the world," right? So the Lord is going to bring these evils. The sword, right? Famine, death, and destruction, you see. So the Lord is the one that's ultimately going to bring these things down the pipeline. When these things begin to actually manifest, it's going to be the Lord that's ultimately bringing it to pass, you see. And it tells us why the Lord is going to bring these things, right? Verse 6, it says, "For wickedness," right, "have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and our hurtful works are fulfilled." Yeah, so Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to bring these things due to the wickedness that's occurring in the planet Earth, man, because you got wickedness at an all-time high. Hey, and the Lord is ultimately fed up with all of the things that he's seeing happening, so he's going to bring these plagues, man, right? These evils, these bad times upon these people, man, right? And I'm going to actually grab this as well, because this is what's going to come. All right, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 again, but I'm going to go up to verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days," right? This is the prophet Esdras ultimately seeing a vision of the times that we are in, man. You see, when everything here in America gets bad and the chaos begins to ensue and the lack of food and all of these different things that we know is going to happen. Hey, the prophet Esdras seen these things, man, right? And he saw how bad it was out here. And it says, verse 18, "The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine," right? "And great death." Because, a lot of people are going to perish from all of these different plagues that the Lord is going to send. A lot of judgment is going to be going out in these times, man, right? It says the beginning of wars, right? And the powers shall stand in fear at the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Right. And for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, we're ultimately going to put all our hope and trust into Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because we know that the Lord is the one that's bringing these evils. And we know that if we're of the Lord's elect, then he's going to come through for us in the midst of all of these different things that he's ultimately going to bring upon planet Earth. Because we know that these things that are coming, these things are not coming for the elect. These things are ultimately being sent upon the wicked, man. Right. And I'm going to grab that precept real quick. This is Sirach chapter 40, and I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners, right? Verse 9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, right? Tribulation and a scourge, all of the things which are coming, right? Verse 10, it says, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, you know, those that fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, those that are trying to do the things that is pleasing unto the Lord to the best of their abilities, us being in these defiled bodies, hey, the Lord is going to come through for them in these times, man. They have nothing to worry about, because ultimately everything that's about to come in these latter times is only for the wicked, man. Right? The 2/3 of Jake and these other heathens, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to make these people suffer from these things, man. They're going to have to deal with not having anything to eat, you know, not knowing where their next meal is going to come from. You see, the Lord is going to, you know, bring these things upon these people. And we just pray and hope, our Lord's willing, that we be of the elect, man. You see, because, hey, we want to ultimately make it through all of these things in which it is we know is coming. Because, hey, this is what's coming down the pipeline, man. You know, these stores that people go through to every day, and they looking at them and they see food in them. They see their Walmarts, their Kroger's, all of these various different, you know, places where people go to shop. They look at those stores and they think that they're going to be stocked forever, man. But no, there is going to come a time where those stores are going to be empty, man. You know, and it ain't going to be no food in sight, but it's going to be food for the Lord's elect, you know, because ultimately, as it tells us right here, let me grab that. This is Psalms chapter 37, right? And I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to read verse 25. And this is King David speaking. It says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. So yeah, when these times come, when this famine does increase here in this place, Babylon and worldwide, hey, how about Shem Yahushua's elect? They're going to have things to eat, man, because the Lord is not going to ultimately allow these things that are coming, you know, to overtake his men and his women. You see the hopeful elect brothers, the hopeful elect sisters and their children, right? Hey, the Lord is going to be coming through for them in these times, man, when things get rough, you know, because these things will happen, man, you know. So I'm going to get back to 2nd Esdras chapter 16, and I'm going to start at verse 19. It said, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right? You go to that word scourges, it means punishment. So the Lord going to send all of these things in these times as a form of judgment, right? He's going to send these things to bring punishment upon these wicked people, man, right? It says, verse 20, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, right? Verse 21, behold, victuals, right, which goes into food, shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, right? Eat, just like now. Guess what? You got food still somewhat cheap in these stores, even though we know the price of groceries are going up. But still, man, it's still affordable. But there's going to come a time very soon you're not going to be able to get food, because guess what? There isn't going to be any, you know. So it's going to get way worse than what we see now. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, right? Verse 22, it says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So yeah, man, like I said, you know, that's what's coming, you know, these various different plagues from the Lord, all right? So we're going to get back into the video, and we'll watch some more of it real quickly. But yeah, these are the things that are coming down the pipeline. You see, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is definitely going to bring a famine, you know. And like I said, we already see these things being put in place now, man. You see, because if any of you brothers and sisters may have been watching for the past like year or two, you know, you've been having a lot of these like dairy farms and places where you got chickens at. You just got to remember that what just happened, I believe, with the so-called bird flu, you know, when you had that maybe about a year or two back, where you had ultimately, they said that millions of chickens were infected. So they had to delete millions of chickens. So, I mean, hey, this is stuff that it hasn't been happening just in one day that a famine is going to come. No, this is an overtime process, man. These things ain't just going to happen in one day. It's a period of time, man. But eventually it's all leading to the same thing, which is going to be a lack of food, right? So, yeah, I'm going to get back into the video.
What they're doing, and this is without all the stuff that we're being sprayed with every day, who knows what that's doing to insects and birds and life in and of itself. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I can see that this is what they want to do. Don't forget, they want to get the population down from 7 billion to 500 million by 2030. Right? This is no joke. And you got the hopiums and the copium people that say, think positive, and they wouldn't do that. Do you realise the level of evil that we're dealing with? We are dealing with the level of evil that will make you wench. This is why it's so hard for people to get their heads around this stuff.
Right. And we hear what it is the guy's saying, but as I've said earlier, man, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the one that's bringing these things, man. He's only using Esau on the left hand to do his bidding, man. But, hey, the Lord going to do this, man. The Lord is going to send the mass death. The Lord is going to send the famine and all of the different type of, judgments that are about to come down the pipeline real soon upon these people, man. It ain't the elites, you see, but these people don't understand that, man, that the Lord controls both sides, both good and evil, right? Let me grab that. Isaiah chapter 45, right? And I'm going to read verse 7. In the KJV, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace, right? Talking about the good times, and create evil, the bad times. I, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, do all these things. So everything in which it is we're about to see befall upon planet Earth in the coming days, weeks, and months, when things really begins to, get worse than we ultimately see happening now. Hey, the Lord doing it, man. Right? Amos 3:6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall it be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Right? So Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the one that's going to bring this famine. We see to punish these people, man, as well as these other various different plagues that he's going to bring as well. Right? But for us hopeful elect brothers and sisters, Lord's willing, we be at that number. Hey, we ultimately have nothing to worry about in these times that are coming. Because as I stated, these things are only for the wicked of our people and these heathens, man. These people are going to worry about these things when they come. You see, these people are going to be panicking, losing their mind, not knowing what to do, and just bugging out, man. Right? Because the Lord is not going to be with these people. Right? Let me grab Job chapter 5. And I start at verse 19. It said, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7, there shall no evil touch thee. Right? Verse 20. In famine, he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Verse 21, it said, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine, right, thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. So why are the Lord's elect going to laugh in the time of a famine? Or why are they going to laugh at the time of destruction and all type of chaos breaking loose? Because guess what? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be with them, man. Right? The Lord is going to be with his elect. Right? They're not going to have things to worry about like these normal people here, man. Right? These people are going to be, worrying about, what they should eat and, how they're going to get by and things like that. But the Lord's remnant, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be with them, man. Right? As it tells us right here. Let me grab that. This Isaiah chapter 65. And I'm going to start at verse 12 and I read down to 14, right? It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, you did not answer, right? That's talking about you 2/3 Jakes, man. You rebellious Jakes out there that, you despise the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Hey, you people going to have to worry about these things when they come, man, right? And you heathens. It says, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Verse 13, therefore thus saith the Lord, power, behold, my servants shall eat, right? The elect man, the elect lady, their children, right? But ye shall be hungry, right? Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed, right? Verse 14, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Yeah, man. And I'm actually look up that word, right? Vexation of spirit. Because this is going to be the state of mind that these people are going to be in, man. Those who the Lord is not going to be with, right? It says, Vexation of spirit, the meaning on AI overview on Google, it says a state of mental and spiritual distress, frustration, and emptiness, often linked to the futility of worldly pursuits or trials that test one's faith, right? And I'm going to go down, right? Bear with me. You see, so basically they're just going to be in a pitiful case, man. That's basically what it's, describing, people that are going to be dwelling in torments, misery, right? That's what's coming for these people, right? But as it tells us right here, let me grab that. 2nd Esdras chapter 8, verse 50, one of my favorite precepts, because this is what's coming upon these people. It says, for many great miseries, and what are going to be part of those miseries? These famines, right? And these various other different plagues, man. For many great miseries shall be done to them, right? That in the latter time, which we're in that time now, that shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride, man. And majority of Jake, right along with these heathens, these people are proud as hell here in America, and how about Shimei Abishai is going to bring these things upon these people to, bring miseries upon them, to judge them, to make them suffer, man, right? That's why it tells us in Hebrews 10:31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And a lot of these Jakes, as well as these other nations, right, the Lord going to allow them to fall into his hands, man. You see, and we know that as the scriptures have said, perishing by famine, that's a terrible way to, to be judged, man. But this is what's coming for a good majority of people, man, right? And let me grab that. Lamentations chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, their visage is blacker than the coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. And that's what you're going to have in the near future. You're going to have people out here that used to be heavy set and, overweight and things like this. Hey, due to this famine that's going to come, people going to be skinny as hell, man. You're going to have people literally out here looking like Pookie from New Jack City, man. People going to be that skinny, bro. This is what's coming. Verse 9, it said, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. Yeah, because ultimately to perish by the sword is going to be a quick death, It'll be over with quickly. But to perish due to not having anything to eat, that's a painful, slow process, man. Your body's deteriorating from within. You're eating off of yourself. I mean, it's just a terrible judgment, and that's what Yahweh Shimei Abishai is bringing for people, man. You see? And that's what's going to ultimately result in a lot of people to start cannibalizing, man, because cannibalism is part of prophecy as well, man. You're going to have these people out here eating each other, man. That's how bad it's going to get when this famine really hits, because these people over here in America, man, they can't go without eating. These people can't fast 2-3 days, go without, certain things. They got to constantly indulge in these things day in and day out. They don't know when to take a break from things. So once this food slows up, then you best believe that it ain't going to take these people long to start, eating each other, man, because that's going to happen, right? And I'm actually read verse 10. It says, the hands of the pitiful women have sodden, right, their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people, man, right? And hey, just like what happened in the ancient times, going to happen again. You're going to have women out here, men out here eating their children and all of these different types of things, you see, to stay alive, man. And this is going to be those that the Lord is not dealing with. They're going to have to resort to doing things like this to survive, man. But for the elect, as I said, Yahweh Shimei Abishai is going to be with them in the time of these troubles that are coming, But it's going to be absolutely hell for the rest of these people, man, right? And we don't feel bad for you people at all, man. You people deserve everything that the Lord is going to bring upon you, you see. But I'm going to grab this precept as well. Matthew chapter 6, right? And I'll start at verse 25, right? And we'll read on down to the point. It says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Right? Verse 26. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? So yeah, man, we're the Lord's people, man. You see, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you speckled birds that look like the heathen, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hey, the Lord is going to come through for the elect of his people in these times. We're not going to have to worry about what we're going to eat. You see, we're not going to be, dependent upon Esau and the government, like majority of these people are going to do in these times. No, we're going to put our faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, right? And the Lord is going to come through for us, man, right? As it tells us in Sirach chapter 2. Let me grab that real quick. And I'll start at verse 10, right? Getting straight to the point. It says, look at the generations of old, right? Which that's going to our forefathers, man, right? That's why it tells us in Romans 15:4, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right? Look at the generations of old and see that ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, right? That means being brought to shame. And we know the answer to that is no. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him, right? Nobody. Verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction, right? Because these are going to be some very afflicting times that, us hopeful elect brothers and sisters are about to be in. Because we're going to be in the midst of these things as well. But through our faith, we know that the Lord is going to come through for us, man. Especially if we're the elect, Lord's willing. We know that we're going to be taken care of in these times. So we're not going to have anything to worry about. You see, in these terrible times that are coming, right? This is back in Matthew 6, and I'm going to read verse 27. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Verse 28, and why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. Verse 29, and yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Verse 30, wherefore, if the Most High so clothe the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith, right? And guess what? That's what's going to get the elect through these times that are coming. Their faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. They're going to have faith to believe that the Lord is going to feed them, man, through faith. And guess what? The Lord is going to come through for them in these times, man, doing miracles. You see, just like as I read, the things written aforetime, written for our learning, right? Look at all the ancient accounts of our forefathers, man, when they found themselves in situations, how the Lord came through for them, man. How the Lord sent the angel to feed the prophet Elijah when he was under the tree, man. He sent the angel twice to feed him. So guess what? The Lord is going to be doing things like that in these times for the elect when this famine comes, man, and these various other different, plagues that are going to ultimately, befall upon the world real soon, man. Right? But yeah, bear with me. I'm going to get back into the video. We're going to go and finish watching the rest of it. Probably about a minute left. So we're just going to let it play out. Right.
Because they don't realize how evil these people are, or the entities that are working through these people. These are demonic entities in human form when you really go into what's going on. So, yeah, you wouldn't do this thing. You wouldn't dream of doing these things, but they would, right? They think nothing of it. They don't have empathy. They feed on our fear and suffering. They feed on chaos. They need that. It's their energy. It's like their food. So the more of it they can generate, the better for them. And so people have to get their heads around in terms of just the lengths that these people will go to. They do not give a shit. They do not care who suffers, how they suffer. And honestly, watch that documentary. I swear, it will give you a clue just to how the evil lengths these people will go to. So do what you want with this information. I'm not telling people to panic and panic buy and, all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying.
All right. We basically got the gist of what the guy's saying. And yeah, man, a famine is coming. You see, and ultimately the only way you're going to make it through these times that are coming is if Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah is with you, man. You see, because ultimately, like the guy just said, buying and, stocking up and, panic buying and, trying to get you a stockpile like majority of these preppers and these jakes out here are doing. Hey, that's not going to save you in the times that's coming, man. Especially if you ain't got the Lord. So you can stock up and do all of that stuff. Hey, only thing that's going to do is make you a target, man, in the times that are coming. Because it's going to get so bad, that people are going to be looting people's houses and, seeking to, destroy one another, all for the lack of bread, man. Right? Let me grab that precept. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And I'll start at verse 19. I'm going to get straight to the point. It said, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? That's talking about in the time of this famine, man, right? When the food becomes scarce and there's not a lot of resources out here. Oh, yeah, people going, Matthew 24:12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? That word cold in the Greek meaning psychos. People not going to care about anybody, man. You see? It said, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? But shall destroy their houses with the sword, which is the gun, and spoil their goods, right? Going through your refrigerator, going through your cabinets, trying to find and receive or to get anything that they can, man, to provide for them and their families, man. This is what it's going to resort to when, the food runs out. It says because of the lack of bread, right? And for great tribulation. Right. So really, the only thing that's going to get you through these times is if Yahweh Shem Yahushua is with you, man. That's your only hope is the Lord for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. So with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this video be edifying to you brothers, as well as you few sisters out there that may join it or may watch it. With that being said, we're going to end the lesson giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakaha Kodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. To the next time, shalom to the elect, shalom.